Ripon is declaring a war on weeds. Your reporter covering San Joaquin County, Esteban Reynoso, is live in Ripon, where fines are going up for overgrown lawns. Esteban?
Well, yeah, Curtis, it's one of these properties here right behind me here that has laid empty and that the weeds are overgrown in some areas that is now worrying city leaders. So now they say that they've had repeated offenders that have ignored notices and fines from the city. So now they're planning to tackle that. So Beatty has lived in Ripon for over 20 years. He has worked on his front lawn to make it look just the way he wants it.
If you have a nice house, you're taking care of it, and you live next to somebody that totally just lets everything go, it's just, I think it's a blight.
He agrees with the city of Ripon now cracking down on overgrown gardens and wants to see more enforcement on homes where the weeds can pose multiple problems like fueling fires. And this is one of the issues for Beatty. He says if these weeds aren't taken care of, that they can potentially spark and even threaten homes if they grow too tall.
If your house burns down, then you lose everything. I mean, pictures, you'll never get that stuff back.
Cost more to take care of the weeds than the fine was, so they would just let it go, and eventually that creates a fire hazard for their property and the neighboring properties.
Ripon Vice Mayor Daniel DeGraff says the abatements weren't as strong as they could have been, and that posed danger to multiple homes. The first complaint against homeowners was a $100 fine.
And then the next one's $200, and then finally $500. And at that point, we were kind of left with, all right, now what? There was a process, but it didn't give us a lot of opportunity to get compliance by the time it was the end of summer.
Once this is in place, we'll start notifying property owners.
In a city council meeting on October 8th, the city began looking into harsher fines and more frequent notices to those landowners who aren't cutting the weeds.
Get compliance and we're not out to fine people. Now we're looking at sort of expediting the process and getting them to know that there's a potential problem long before it becomes an issue.
Now the city is looking into exactly how much more those fines will go up. Now, Vice Mayor DeGraff, he tells me that before this whole abatement was re-looked into, that they were based on complaints by neighbors and what was reported to the city. But now they say they'll take a much more proactive approach.